Welcome to KW Conversations, where we discuss the workforce and education issues that matter in the Louisville region. This show is brought to you by Kentuckiana Works, the region's workforce development board.
Welcome to another episode of KW Conversations. My name is Angela Wilson, and I'm the Adult Program Director for Kentuckiana Works. So today, what we're going to talk about, we have two great panelists. We have young African Americans that are successful in their field. And this conversation today is about people that are working and just a little bit about their journey in the overarching field of industry of construction. So I'm actually going to stop talking and I'm going to let Chelsea and Steve introduce themselves. But ladies first, Chelsea, do you want to let us know a little bit about you?
Definitely. First, thank you for having me on here. It's a pleasure to be able to speak and share my story. So I am the owner as well as president and CEO of a asphalt maintenance company called Jim Reynolds Asphalt Contractor. So we're located here in Louisville, Kentucky, and we do all things asphalt. So whether you need a new driveway or parking lot paved, whether you need striping done, a bumper block installed, potholes fixed, seal coating, we do it all. And we've been in business for over 30 years. So it's been an exciting journey. The company's older than me. I'm actually only 25 years old. It's a family business. And we've been, operating in Louisville for over 30 years and continue to grow. And our goal is to continue to pass this company down from generation to generation and give opportunities to as many people as possible in this industry.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Steve Ebbs. I am the founder and owner of Ebbs & Lowe Big Company. Are becoming well-known within the construction field, and it's fun as we go. We're just learning and growing every day, and it's just really been fun.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So let's start with our first question, and I'm going to direct this towards Chelsea, right? So this morning, like a lot of people, most people received email headline from Business First that a local company has named the CEO. So congratulations, Chelsea. Describe a little bit your journey to how you got to the top job.
Definitely, for sure. So I started out in this industry at 18 years old, mainly really because my father and my great uncle, Sam Ellis and Jim Reynolds, they both have been in the asphalt industry, in the home improvement industry, since I was a kid. So I always grew up around it, but I never knew that I was going to be a part of it when I got older. I would have never guessed that, actually. But I just always was around the industry, though. So I knew a little bit about it. And then when it came time for me to graduate high school and I had to make that decision of, okay, are you going to college? What college are you going to? What career do you want to choose? It made me to start to really think back and reflect on life and kind of what I enjoyed doing, what industries I was around, and what career could give me the life that I truly wanted to live. And after kind of looking around in different industries, different colleges, I realized that entrepreneurship was a great way of becoming financially free. So I had the goal of wanting to have time freedom. I wanted, the income freedom, and I wanted just, financial freedom as well, just to be able to live and enjoy a life that I could build of my own. And then after doing research in the entrepreneurship as well as the home improvement and construction industry, I realized that it was an industry that could do that for me. So then my mind started to change, like, all right, maybe I can, take a step into this direction. Even though I didn't know what asphalt was or details about it at that time, I was like, it's worth just giving it a try. So my father at that time, he gave me the option. He said, hey, you can go to college and you can get a degree in entrepreneurship, or you can spend these next 4 years and learn underneath me in the asphalt company. And this can be your college, hands-on experience. And I thought about it and I decided to go that route. I thought to myself, what better teacher than a person who raised me and also a person who I've seen have success in this industry. So I just spent every day with my father and my great uncle learning about the construction industry, the home improvement industry, and asphalt. And then from there, I worked my way up step by step through the company. So I moved up to vice president I was only doing paperwork at first. So then I was able to move up to vice president, then from there, president, to now being part owner as well as CEO and president. So it's truly been an amazing experience, and it's been different, but I've been enjoying it. All of the process, I've enjoyed it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what about you, Steve? What's a little bit, what has your journey been like?
So I would say I have an artistic background, so I like painting canvas. So that's how I knew that I could paint like a wall. Not to say that it's like any less hard or challenging, but I just felt confident that I could paint a wall because I could paint on canvas. And in between all that, like that was how I started the business, through paint. But in my early 20s, my dad's twin brother, my uncle, who's passed away now, I talked to him about one day starting a business through all the skills and traits that he had and he knew how to do. And I'm like, you know what? If we could turn this into a business, I was like, I know that it would do great. And I was like, the things that I don't know, you can teach me. And he was like, hey, that would be good. But at the time, he was on disability from the military. So I didn't realize that the reason why he wasn't working as hard as he possibly could was because he had some back issues. So it didn't really work out like that. But I told him, I said, I think it would be great if we could come together and like start a business. I'm like, I could be the apprentice and you can just tell me what to do, But maybe, I don't know, 3 years after we had that talk, I'm deep in my career. I worked for the post office for like 8 years before I started my business. But I was deep into my career at the post office, kind of climbing up the ladder. And all of a sudden, we had got just some tragic news that he had a heart attack. And it just didn't sit well with me, knowing that, that we had talked about some ideas that I'm just like, man, what if we could have got that off the ground? So something in me just didn't sit well with, just my regular, 9-to-5 job. And I felt like, I want to challenge myself to a little bit more. I want to try to make him proud and, take a chance. And, I left a job I've been working with it for 8.5 years and just stepped out there on the faith of starting this little paint company. And people would ask me, man, why paint? Out of all the things you could start off in, why paint? And it's like, well, I knew that was something I could overexceed the customer's expectation in. I'm not going to tell them I can build them a roof, when I don't know how to build roofs, but one day I may know how to build roofs and we may be able to add that in as additional service. But, for now it was paint and paint, opened up the door for many other services. I consider just really about being an asset to others. And that's what's helped our company grow. And with us having those type of ideas from the start in our foundation, just want to help others out, that's allowed us to grow tremendously in a short amount of time.
Wow. So listening to both of you, what I've heard was close family members, right, had a lot to do with your success today. And the fact that you had a chance to see people, that look like you actually doing the work. And I heard you both say that you had a chance to kind of, do it, right? Watch somebody else study under somebody. And so there's a lot of research around talking about the connectivity between job seekers and a career, having a chance to do an internship, right? Actually do the work, watch other people do it, learn and study from them. Another term for it is work-based learning. And so these are just two great examples of why those are so important. And why places like Kentucky Works have to continue to work harder to connect people to on-site type of jobs and activities. So is there anything one thing that was pivotal in kind of your decision making? Like, yes, this is it. I know, Chelsea, you mentioned earlier you had a chance to kind of sit back, think about the benefits, and that was kind of the deciding factor. Steve, is there something specifically that kind of helped drive you to where you are right now?
Sure. So I've never been afraid of like hard work. So I used to, when I was working for the post office, I adjusted my schedule so that basically meaning that I took a job where I would go in at like 4 a.m. and I might get off at like maybe 1:30, and then I would go get off of work and then go work ebbs and low from 2 in the afternoon until maybe 7, or if I had something vacant, like another house that I was working on that was like maybe vacant, I would treat that kind of like a third shift job, and I would try to work that during the third shift, and then I might pack everything up by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just to get ready to do it all again. So what I realized is, as far as being an entrepreneur and whatnot, I'm like, you know what? If I give ebbs and low all the time that I'm giving the post office, I'm already willing to work my post office shift and go do ebbs and low. What happens if I give ebbs and low all that time? But to do that, I have to, have total faith and trust in the unknown, which is mine to operate, right? So I have to have total faith and trust in the unknown and just step out there. And, that's basically what it boiled down to. I think for 6 months, I carried my main job with my business, and revenue yet that solidified me jumping out there and going all the way in full throttle. But I had the faith that, we will produce it. It is coming. I just have to get out here. I have to dedicate. I have to build the base, and now it's just night and day, It's night and day.
Yeah, I agree as well. It was similar for me. I think the biggest thing was just the belief system and believing in myself that I could do it. And then from there, you just got to put in the work that it takes. And then from there, your confidence continues to grow and you see, okay, I can do it and I can do more. Then you start adding more things. Then you're able to start hiring people and all those things come after that. But first, the biggest thing is getting over our fears, of what will happen or how it will go. And just doing it.
Stepping out on faith. And like you said, put in the work. All right. So what do you think is the biggest misconception about working in your field? Chelsea, you want to start with that one?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest misconception, I guess, just being a woman that, it's a job that only men can do, or that's, more dedicated towards men. I've been out there and I've done some labor work myself just to, try it out and see if I could do it or show the men that I can do it type of thing. And it opened my eyes up even more to show that, there's plenty of positions in this industry that women can be involved in. Or even young people or, people of different backgrounds, can be in this industry. So I learned that a lot by working, and it made me want to open doors for other people like me. I can go in there, I can, get dirty for a couple of hours and then leave out and, go back to the regular scheduled program. It cleans off paint, asphalt, seal coating. One thing I realized, it all cleans off at the end of the day. And it's a good career to be in because you can make more than minimum wage and make a living wage in these trades and industries. So that's the biggest thing I learned, is that it's something that anybody can do.
Absolutely. What you want to add to the conversation, Steve?
I would say a big misconception is that, anybody can do some of the things that's to be done. It's a lot of skill behind this, a lot of knowledge and time learning. For instance, like someone may feel like, I need a plumber, and then you get a plumber call over there to your home, and you see that they just removed 2 bolts, and you're like, you know what, I could have removed those 2 bolts, but you didn't know what 2 bolts to remove. You didn't know why you needed to remove those 2 bolts. So it's almost like people have the conception sometimes that, or one big misconception is that if you can do something fast, then it's not really, shouldn't be worth much because you did it so fast. But it's not about how fast you can do something. It's kind of about the knowledge that you've had to attain, and basically, that's a part of, why things cost what they cost. It's not always about exactly what you do. Like, some people look at painting and they're like, you know what, it's easy to, throw some tape up there and paint like that. But, you can start that way, but, you're going to go on some job where they're going to question your level of professionalism if you're not, actually cutting it in, by hand. So it's a lot of misconceptions that, like, you can just kind of ease your way in, which, there are ways to get in, but, you have to be serious about, your craft. I would say that's a big mistake. It's a big misconception that, the lowest price, bid or estimate is, the best work, like that's the best deal. But a lot of times the lowest price estimate, this is speaking from a customer standpoint, and misconceptions. A lot of times the lowest price estimate is the most expensive, because if you have to pay to refix what, this contractor, didn't do correctly, then now what seemed like was cheap and a good deal turns into something else more expensive. So a misconception is that you can get, quality, and it's really the good old saying, you kind of get what you pay for.
Yep. All right. So next question. As construction leaders, what are your thoughts on growing your business? Why expand? Is it really worth the headache sometimes?
Definitely. I think all of us as business owners kind of go back and forth on the subject of expanding and when to do it, how to do it, when to hire new people. All of those things are, I think, struggles and battles we face as entrepreneurs. But I'm really big. My normal philosophy is kind of grow from the inside out. And grow, not necessarily growing fast or slow, but at the pace that fits with your business. It's kind of how I always look at it. I read a lot of different books on the topic of expanding and growth. And, one thing I've learned is it's all about kind of what you put in is what you get out. So my mindset I've always tried to have is the same amount of time that it takes for me to bid and do a $500 job. Normally it'll take almost the same amount of time to bid and do a job that's worth 10 times more than that. So a job that costs $20,000, it took me the same amount of effort, maybe just a little bit more, to do that bigger job. So a lot of times it's mainly the mindset switch of, maybe going from residential to commercial, or going from doing homes to doing more things in the construction industry. In this industry, that's a way to grow by doing that. And also there's just a lot of good ways to network out here, whether it be networking with other businesses. Like me and Steve, we network. And if there's opportunities for me to, give him a lead, I'll do so. If there's opportunities for him to give me a lead, he'll do so. So the bigger you build your network, normally that also helps with your growth. And then last thing, I'm big with marketing and branding. I love just the topic of marketing and branding. And I think every business owner, even if we are good at a skill, whether it be asphalt, painting, just home improvement in general, if we take a little bit of time to learn about branding and marketing, a lot of times we can also be able to build our companies, ourselves, and learn how to market, whether it be business cards, putting signs out on our jobs, or, there's even online places you can go, Google, getting reviews from your customers can help your business grow. All of those tools. But it's about just, doing a little research every day and learning more and more to where you can put it in place to what fits for you in your business. Has worked for me personally.
And so, Steve, I know you mentioned earlier about you now expanded, or you went through several different service offerings. What are your thoughts on continuing to expand? Do you see that in the near future?
Oh, yes. I want to continue to expand. I looked at my business in the beginning, I didn't want to trust others because I knew what I could give the customer. I knew the level of effort that I would put in until the job was done and they were happy about it. So it took a lot for me to want to trust others. And, I didn't feel like it was going to work out if I had to just train everybody from level 0 to, where I feel like I can trust them, So I deal with some other workers and stuff that I have that are like, 10, 15 years experience, and I really think that that's been helpful because that allowed me to trust them just like I trust myself because they have years of experience doing this. So then it allows me to step away from some of the positions that I had to be in, for my company to operate and be profitable. Now I can step away and allow them to utilize their skill set, put money on their family's table, and put money on Ebbs and Low's family's table as well. So now I like what I do even better because I help so many others. There's so many other people that are under the Ebbs and Low umbrella that benefit from what we do. And the thing is, it's all in the name of being able to help more people. Because if it was only me like it was in the beginning, but nowadays we might get 10 calls a day, so if we turn those leads into actual jobs, then I will have to schedule, that's a whole month's worth of work right there, and I don't want to tell people, I'm 3 weeks away, so my thing is I needed to make my business scalable. So, it can run without me actually having to per se swing the hammer or, swing the paintbrush. So we're getting to that point, and it feels good, but it's also just a part of, I think, owning a business. You want to grow, you want growth, and, being able to scale your business, that's a step in the right direction, because one day we would like to be in other markets, with a stronghold like we have here in, maybe a Georgia or New York or Texas or California, so we want to be in different markets. So just imagine if I'm running around to do the jobs, how can I think about being in a different market? I can't even operate, a week's worth of jobs right here in the same way that I could if it was scaled. So the overall goal is definitely to grow. And as you grow, help others. Like I said, it's just, to me, everything is about being an asset. If I can be an asset to you, then in turn, whether you realize it or not, you're going to be an asset to not only me, but to others. Because, like I said, when somebody goes out and does the job, that's food on their family's table now, So I just like helping others. And my thing is, you have to just be willing to help others get what they want. And, you will get all the blessings that you feel like you're entitled to. But just be willing to help others. So many different products and services to sell. But I think some of them can seem a lot more helpful and beneficial than other stuff like that. But like if I was selling T-shirts, I just feel like it's harder to, accumulate, the type of, I say the type of, let me say this. I think it'd be harder to build up a brand off of T-shirts than it is off of something that's a little bit more beneficial, because you might have one T-shirt amongst 30 other T-shirts that you really like. But then, like, as far as your home, you probably only have one kitchen in there. You know what I mean? So if we upgrade this kitchen, that's pretty big. It's different than buying a t-shirt, so it's like different things like that help me to realize that, with what I've gotten into, I feel like, making sure that whatever you get into, you see the signs of it becoming lucrative, because as long as it's harder for you to see where it can become lucrative, then that means it's going to take that much longer and mean that many more, sales or whatnot have to be produced to make it to the numbers that you want to get to. So I don't know. I don't hate to be long-winded, but I so am. But I just that's how I feel. Excuse me.
But we both some talkers.
Yeah, right. You don't get here not be comfortable with talking. That's right. You must know that. You must be willing to talk. Network. How can you network if you're not talking? So, but yeah, that's a big part of the growth too. Networking, like Chelsea said. I think both of us have a really, really a nice following on social media, and that's not by chance. And also growth, something that can stifle your growth is not knowing how to carry yourself the best way on social media.
So what I heard between both of you is really branding's a big part of it, right? Steve talked a lot about giving back and helping others. That's part of the brand, right? When you're selecting who you want to work with, people are looking holistically, right? So I think that's part of marketing and branding, and if you want to grow and expand, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think he mentioned a good part too on about not only employing people, but we also have a lot of subcontractors. So that's a good thing for this industry, is the subcontractor. So it's a good industry that you can jump into if you want to own a business. So you can start out as a subcontractor for a person like me or like Steve, and then you can kind of get your feet wet because we're feeding you jobs. So, it'll get your income you need to start out. And then you can learn from us to then figure out, all right, how can I get more jobs on my own? I'm getting this amount now from helping her out, helping him out. And then they can start to learn the process in that while they're also working with us. So I've enjoyed that as well. I not only have employees, but I have a lot of contractors. So we can see each other as equals, and they can see me as a mentor throughout the process. And then they eventually brand themselves and go off to do their own thing and become even bigger. And you can kind of see that growth happen. So it's a really good industry for that.
Wonderful. So you guys were talking about networking, and you two network with each other, and I'm sure alike other professionals. One of the things we like to leave with to our listeners are, what are some resources, maybe some magazines, some LinkedIn or Twitter followers that you think will be good for our job seekers to know about?
Yes. So I would say, if I would refer, I love reading books, and love listening to podcasts. So I recommend, doing that for everybody to do that, whether it be a motivational book about business, things such as that. But two books that I would recommend reading. One is Profit First. So that's a good book for anyone wanting to get into business or who is into business and looking to grow and wanting to know kind of how they should handle their money in their business. So what money should go to savings, to paying yourself, to, your profits, to investing back into your business. That book helps a lot in that topic. And then in regards to social media, honestly, I just like to follow like-minded people. So every day I make an effort to make sure that the people on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram are either people in my field or people who, I just wouldn't mind doing business with. So they could own restaurants or, a gym or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be the exact field, but people of like minds, because what you'll see happen is we'll all eventually be able to network some way, somehow. They might know someone who needs asphalt work done, or they might need it themselves, but it always comes full circle. when you just have good quality, motivated people on your pages and people who inspire you. So I don't, use Facebook. I use it for fun a little bit, but mainly for business. So people who can inspire me, who can teach me something new every day, people can share information. It's kind of who I like to be around when it comes to social media and networking in person as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just piggyback and say that like-minded people, being around them is very, very important, from an energy standpoint, inspirational standpoint. And as far as like social medias and stuff, it's important to, try to friend the right people. So then, they can see what you bring to the table, just like you saw what they bring to the table. And before you know it, you're a part of the same groups of people that, have these good things going on, whether it's a business or, whatever they have going on, whether it's a nonprofit or whether, it's someone who has a, like Chelsea was saying, a restaurant or whatnot. So I think it all depends on what field you're trying to get into. So if you're obviously trying to get into my son just came in here. If you're obviously trying to get into the restaurant field, I would say, definitely you want to follow restaurant business owners and whatnot. But for someone like, if you want to do like home improvement, you can see the benefit for me following restaurant people as well, because their restaurant may need an improvement. So we do commercial and, residential improvements. So if I'm a friend of a restaurant owner, then they can see how I may be able to be an asset to them. So it's basically about just opening up the doors to allow people to see how you can be an asset to them. And to me, it doesn't matter, even if you have to, like, I'm a little different. Like when I first started, I used to see like people working on job sites, and I would literally park my car and I get out and I walk over there to the job site and I'd be like, hey, just, trying to see what's going on. What you guys preparing here, And sometimes people are like, hey, who are you? Like, get out of here. But it's like, hey, I had to learn. I wanted to know. I want to know why all these guys' trucks say Cincinnati, and I know that there are qualified workers right here in Louisville that could have been doing that job. So it's like, I go in there and I ask my questions, and, I just find out stuff. So, you just got to be willing to learn and put yourself in the position of a learner. If you think you already know a whole lot, then you're not really willing to learn a lot. So just be open to learn, whatever way it can come from, a book, a podcast, whatever, but just be willing to learn. And I got cut off a little bit earlier, but I was trying to say when we do all this marketing on social media, it's very important to carry yourself in a manner that you want to be looked at with your business in mind, even when you're not posting directly about business, right? Like you have to have a certain level of, you want to, you don't have to, but it's easier, I feel like, to come across the way you want to others when you don't go too personal, basically. I think, I can remember the days where Facebook was, for me, just like it seems to be for a lot of people, where it's, somewhere just for fun, and you put up, the things that you want to talk about socially or whatever you want to vent about. And it's just like, now I understand the power of networking, and, the social medias are the new phone book now. Back in the day, having your business in a phone book, that was really something everybody could find. You're in the phone book, but nowadays the internet is the phone book. So if you want to be in the internet, if you want to be in a phone book, get on the internet. That's the way to do it. Reach out to others, like-minded people.
Definitely. And you brought up a good point about sitting back and recognizing and checking your image on social media platforms.
Yes.
Because for all the job seekers that are listening, when you are applying for positions, people are searching what your activity is like online, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you listen to Steve, you need to keep it focused, right? There's always an end goal at mind. How would you feel if you see certain things on social media? So that you see, Steve and Chelsea have been dropping gems today. So thank you for that.
No problem. Yeah, but that definitely was a great point.
All right, so that was actually the last question. Really appreciate you both are taking your time of chatting with us today.
Thanks for tuning in to KW Conversations. Visit KentuckianaWorks.org to find labor market data, resources for job seekers and employers, and much more.